I can tell you that James is at his heart a church boy. What that means is I was born and raised in church, and an amazing church under an amazing pastor, under a mother who was God-fearing and had a God-fearing home. Grew up singing in church, learning how to testify, learning how to preach, and just watch amazing ministers and thinking one day, hey, maybe I could do that. Through every bad decision, through every good decision, through every act of obedience or disobedience, there was someone there that I can say without a doubt that was leading and guiding me to all right. I didn't always do it or listen to that voice, but that voice, whether it was standing in the shadows, whether it was in the front, on the back, on the side, it was there. And that voice, of course, was God. And so James is a person that can tell you that with God, even through life disappointments, whether it was self-inflicted or not, he will get you to the other side, and he'll get you there. You may have some battle wounds, and that's good because sometimes you can look at those and see where God got you from. Or he'll allow you to come out of it completely unscathed. But he is the ultimate. And he knows us each individually. And so James is a person that just wants to share that with somebody and let somebody else know what that can be for them. Why am I starting a Bible study channel? That's a question that I asked myself at midnight, believe you me. And I actually went online and done research, and I was looking at amazing people giving amazing lessons on different YouTube channels and whatnot. And I was like, James, what can you add to this? What can you add to this conversation that hasn't been said already? But I'm a thorough believer, and I'm going biblical here. Paul could not do what Peter was called to do, and Peter could not do what Paul was called to do. They each had their own testimony, their life's journeys. They had to share that, and they each had a target audience that God wanted them to minister to. And I think that's the job of every Christian, to share our testimony, to share the gospel in our testimony. And whether we're doing it on a YouTube channel, whether we're doing it on a bus stop, whether we're on a plane, just sharing how having God or making the choice to have God in your life is the best thing that you could ever do. That the gospel itself has not changed. And the gospel, of course, is the death, burial, and resurrection of Jesus Christ. And then, of course, him leading us to our Father, his Father, the eternal Spirit. Now, life has changed. Certain Christians have changed. Kind of what we go through has changed. But the gospel hasn't changed. Guess who else hasn't changed? The devil, Satan. He's still the old same snake in the grass as he always has been. He's very wise. Jesus hasn't changed. He's the same one that died on the cross, who's on the right side of the Father up there. He's cheering us on. He said, come on, y'all can make it. I've gone through that. I've been there. I promise you, you can get through it. Make an intercession for us. And then, of course, God, the eternal Spirit, the Father, has not changed. And so the gospel, according to James, is by applying the word, by listening to God, by following, of course, his son, Jesus Christ. There's no obstacle, there's no situation, there is nothing that you can go through in life that you can't get through. You just got to know how to apply, how to implement, and how to follow through. That's the gospel according to James. Ooh, favorite book of the Bible. Now, it's hard for me to say a favorite book because there's two parts of the Bible, Old Testament, New Testament. So I just can't say one. Favorite book of the Bible for the Old Testament would have to be probably Exodus. I love the story of Moses. I love how God showed up and showed out in Egypt and done all those amazing things and proved that he is the God that can't be messed with or can't be whooped. He has no equals. I love the story of Exodus because he took a small group of people and he showed you don't mess with my people. Even though it took him a little time to get to his people, he got them freed and got them over the Red Sea into the Promised Land. So Old Testament has to be Exodus. New Testament, I tell you, that's a tough one. But probably Hebrews. Paul wrote Hebrews, and I love that because Paul done an exceptional job at explaining Christ, who Christ was, how he was the Son of God, how he was a man just like us, how he went through things, but how he overcame things, and how he is now in the heavens, making intercession for us. He's also our Savior, but he's the Son of God, and then there's God, who we are answers to. And he makes a great distinction of that relationship and what that means and how that applies to us and how we can see ourselves through Christ and be Christ's brother and overcome with Christ. Favorite verse. Now that depends on what's going on in my life, who I'm dealing with, who may have got fresh with me, I don't know. So right now it is 1 Peter chapter 2:15. And it is, for so is the will of God that with well-doing you will put to silence the ignorance of foolish men. And that is something that I've had to do, just with well-doing. And doing well knows how to shut a hater up, or a foolish man up. Man or woman. Favorite person in the Bible would have to be King David, Old Testament. In David, you've seen the ideal man. He was imperfect. He had passions, he loved women, had flames with women, loved his children, had problems with his children, had enemies, had people that loved him and people that hated him. But with everything he went through everything he went through, good or bad, he always knew that God was the one he had to go back to get things right. And that's what he always did. He always ended up on the right side of whatever he was in. That's why I love David, because I see so much of myself in David. James has had issues, made problems for himself. Other people made problems for him, but regardless, God always got me through it.